This is the Unawarded Black Podcast with your host, Jay Watts. Hey, while you're watching the video, comment, like, and subscribe. Okay, I have a picture right here. On the right, we have Robert Fuller. On the left, we have Malcolm Harsch. Initially, the story of Robert Fuller came out as a black man hung. And with everything going out, it became a bigger story. And then they came out and said that he had hung himself. People say, no, he ain't hang himself. It's not known black people hanging themselves. But then, I just waited to see what was going to happen on this because, just like with any other black man that they found hanging nowadays, it's suicide. That's what they say. But then, the second incident has come around, and they said it happened maybe 2 weeks before. Less than 50 miles away, another black man found hanging. Both of them on the outskirts of Los Angeles. One person, maybe. But two, I don't believe in coincidences of two black men just finding a tree to hang themselves on. But let's get into the stories. You can listen to it, and then we'll go more into it.
50 miles east in Victorville, another black man found dead, his body also hanging from a tree. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies making the shocking discovery near the Victorville Library. That's where they found the body of 38-year-old Malcolm Harsch. Deputies say his body was discovered back on May 31st near a homeless encampment. Investigators now say foul play is not suspected, but they say the cause and manner of death are still under review.
California's Attorney General is being asked to investigate the death of a young black man who was found hanging from a tree. The initial finding of suicide alarmed the community. Some fear the Wednesday death in Palmdale, some 60 miles north of Los Angeles, could be foul play. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti reports.
Can I also ask that we stop talking about lynchings?
At a contentious press briefing, residents in the LA County city of Palmdale demanded an independent investigation into the death of Robert Fuller. The 24-year-old was found hanging from a tall tree branch early Wednesday morning in a public square across from City Hall. Investigators didn't say if a ladder was found nearby.
We were sitting here staring at this tree. It don't make no sense.
That's right. Fuller's sister, Diamond Alexander, along with activists, now demanding answers after they say the sheriff's department rushed to conclusions. For example, in one release, officials said it appears Mr. Fuller tragically committed suicide, even though homicide detectives were still investigating. A second statement released by the city linked Fuller's death to COVID-19 related depression, reading, "Sadly, it's not the first such incident since the COVID-19 pandemic began." But Fuller's sister said he wasn't depressed.
Robert was a good little brother to us. We've been hearing one thing, then we hear another. And we just want to know the truth.
It's the second recent hanging death of a black man in the area. On May 31st, after a night of George Floyd protests, Malcolm Harsch was found hanging from a tree in neighboring San Bernardino County. Officials said there are no signs of foul play, but said detectives were still investigating the cause and manner of death. Meanwhile, demands for an investigation into Fuller's death have gained national attention after tweets by both Senator Kamala Harris and Kim Kardashian went viral. Palmdale officials are now calling for an independent investigation and autopsy. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Just a little bit more information about Malcolm Harsch is that guessing he apparently was from Ohio. And that his family didn't believe he was depressed. He recently had a conversation with his children about seeing them soon. The family also said that they were told that Harsch, at 6'3", wasn't dangling from the tree, and that there was blood on his shirt. At the same time, there did not appear to be any evidence at the scene to suggest a struggle. They also noted that his body sat in the San Bernardino County Coroner's Office for 12 days before the autopsy was performed. The explanation of suicide does not seem plausible, the family wrote. There are many ways to die, but considering the current racial tension, a black man hanging from a tree doesn't sit well with us right now. That's what the family said. We want justice. No comfortable excuses, they wrote. Wow. Let's say in the meantime, thousands. Okay, let's see. And now we can get her over to Malcolm Fuller. Some more information about Malcolm Fuller is a little bit more. Robert Fuller is that it says shortly after 3:30 a.m. Wednesday, a passerby saw Fuller's body hanging from a tree in an area called the Ponstilian Square, just out of the city hall in Palmdale. The passerby immediately alerted authorities. Shortly after, first responder determined Fuller was dead. From the initial investigation of the scene and everything we've recovered at the scene, all signs right now led us believe that this was a suicide. Without going into much detail, it doesn't appear that there was any sign of a fight or struggle. Palmdale officials addressed the incident during Friday's press conference, stating Fuller's death marked the 15th alleged suicide in the city this year. When asked how many black Palmdale residents died in suicide, officials could not provide an exact number, but said it was more than one. You know what a better question would have been? How many black people have been found hung in a tree this year? I mean, you know, how many suicides by hanging in a tree have there been in Palmdale? They really, the LA Medical Examiner Coroner's Office confirmed that Fuller's death was initially reported in the preliminary findings as a suspected suicide. However, they have yet to determine an official cause of death as the investigation is ongoing. Okay, that's just what the residents have to say. From what I understand, with Robert Fuller, they said that there should have been cameras around that area, and somehow the cameras on this one particular day just so happened not to be working. You know, one death within a radius, you know, big as California is, one death is something, but two, they're just not starting to sit well. And they need to find out if there have been other deaths by hanging in California recently. Wish it was possible to be able to dig into those files and find out how many random black people have been hung as of recent, but it's just something that has to be investigated. The whole point of the fact that they let Malcolm sit there for 12, body just laid there for 12 days without actually doing an autopsy tells you something. They knew something. He had blood on his shirt. Where did the blood come from? I know he hung himself, but I wish they had pictures of all this, something to show us. But, you know, like I said, once is a possibility, twice in that close of a range that's too close for comfort, and it's something that really has to be investigated, and they need to go back and look at this medical examiner, because 12 days and you don't know why he died, other than they said they told him it was a hanging. He assumed it was a hanging, so he took him 12 days to even get to it. Now, you know, recently they tried to pass an anti-lynching bill. Unfortunately, it stalled because of it's called Rand Paul. Did a whole talk and somehow stalled the whole bill. And maybe this their time trying to get in there before. And the thing is, every time a black person gets hung, it's a suicide, no matter what the circumstance is. But the only good thing that can come out of this is with people being more focused now, it will put more pressure on these authorities to do their job. So I say to anybody who's listening, get on them. Well, anyway, that has been my time today. This is the Unawarded Black Podcast with your host, Jay Watts. Like, subscribe, follow my anchor, comments. Just hit me up. All right, I'm out. Catch you later.